guess what the biggest news in the country today is? We begin with the Guardian newspaper, which leads with 2 million households to pay 225 naira per kilowatt hour as prepaid meter may hit 300,000 naira. The details of that you'll find on the inside pages, but look at the infographic right there. Increases in meter prices between 2013 and 2024. You see the list there, and a number of other things right there. You see that figure, 13.2 million, is that of registered customers in the country as of March this year only. Well, the details you'll find on the inside pages and a number of other stories on the front page right there. New Telegraph leads with the same story. New electricity tariff, 1.8 million. That's 15% of 12 million users to pay 225 naira per kilowatts from 66 naira. It has a rider as FG hikes rate, reduces feeders from 800 to under 500 for Band A customers who enjoy 20-hour power supply daily. Discos yet to be notified. TUC kicks, says planned hike, recipe for industrial unrest. PRP says it's cruel blow to Nigerians. Blackout, UCH workers suspend night shift over 495 million naira IBEDC debt. Details of all of that story you'll find on pages 2, 4, and 5 this morning. And of course, at the bottom of that page, you see that story as well. CBN changed duty rates for goods clearance 28 times in 3 months. That's ascribed to Adeniyi. You may wonder who that is. The details you find on page 8 of New Telegraph this morning. Daily Times newspaper is next. Subsidy regime. NERC increases electricity tariff for Band A customers, says review to affect only 15% customer population. To save FG 1.14 trillion naira in 2024 fiscal year. Shareholders decry electricity tariff hike. Details on the inside pages. Switch to the Leadership newspaper. New tariff. Band A homes may spend 170,000 naira on electricity monthly. That story is on page 4. Labor, businesses groan. Manufacturers mull own power generation plan. You'll find the details of that. Of course, some infographic on the front page to give you some further idea of what the story is about. Look at the front page of the Vanguard newspaper. Electricity concerns as tariff hike hits customers. It's recipe for unrest, ascribed to TUC. Poverty rate will worsen, according to economists. It will not address fundamental energy issues, as ascribed to Muda Yusuf. Details of that you'll find on page 20. Now, there's the latest on the Okwama community story, why residents of Okwama community can't access their homes, as according to the Chief of Defense Staff. Details of that you'll find on page 5 of the Vanguard newspaper this morning. Daily Independent has this on its front page. Outrage greets FG's more than 300% electricity tariff hike. Find details of that story on the front page. It continues on the inside pages. At the bottom of that page, CSO's back setup asked governors to account for 5.9 trillion naira and $4.6 billion loans. Details continue on the inside pages of the paper this morning. This Nigeria newspaper is also talking about electricity tariff hike. It's electric shock for us. Nigerians lament. Look at the riders. Band A customers to pay 225 naira for kilowatts per hour as against 66 naira. Let Nigerians breathe. We can't add this to current hardship. Who said that? This is on the inside pages. Increase will electrocute human lives. Oh, some play of words on the front page of this Nigeria Today. As I subscribe to Shields on it. Details of that story you find on page 4 of the paper this morning. Daily Trust newspaper has its own angle to that same story this morning. NLC CSOs reject electricity tariff hike. Expect power theft. Ex-NERC chair says. Hike in gas price, Naira crisis behind decision. As ascribed to regulators. The details of that story you find on the inside pages of Daily Trust newspaper this morning. Nigerian News Direct, some kind of explainer. New tariff to reduce electricity subsidy by 1.14 trillion naira. The story is ascribed to NERC. That's the angle of the Nigerian News Direct this morning. Cities increase in infrastructure investment as reason for hike in electricity tariff. Downgrades 300 feeders for failing to supply 20 hours of electricity. Mandates discos to migrate more customers to Band A. That story, details of it, is on page 4. Now, look at the front page of Blueprint newspaper this morning. Q1 2024. Customs nets 1.34 trillion naira revenue, seizes 10.59 billion naira goods. Whoa. The figure represents 122.35% increase same period 2023. Reopening our borders with Niger will boost activities. That story is described to Adeni. Find the details of that on the inside pages. At the bottom of that page, there's the story to that picture. With student loan law, no child will be excluded from quality education. As ascribed to Tinubu, details of that on the inside pages. It continues on the inside pages. And with the blueprint, we close a look at some of the dailies this morning. Which one is your own outstanding take? Let's hear from you.
Yeah, this morning. But if you look at the Guardian newspaper, yeah, they equally focus on that and give you a breakdown, which is part of what we'll highlight here this morning. But some equally interesting stories other than that lead story here. Abure reportedly escaping assassination, his home being gutted. So you just tend to wonder, there appears to be a lot more than what has been going on. The tussle for the chairmanship of political parties. So you just wonder what is going on. You thought that they ought to have their acts together and ensure that they set example for other political parties. But if this is going on, wow, just wow. But also on that same front page, man nabbed over alleged abduction of housewife for sexual pleasure in Osun. So thankfully, men of Amotekun were said to have caught up with the man in question. He's said to have used what they call a magic ring to abduct the married woman. So after dropping her, he tried to escape, and then somehow the woman raised an alarm, and that's why you get to hear of this kind of matter. So you need to know when you see something, you need to say something, because this was completely odd. And they say he abducted the woman for 3 weeks. Wow. And that's really never ceased. Front page of Guardian for you guys today.
Speaking of other stories, apart from the major story, which has to do with this electricity hike, from the New Telegraph, there's one from the CBN. The CBN changed duty rate for goods clearance 28 times in 3 months, according to Adeni. More on that from page 8 of the New Telegraph. And then, of course, we've been talking since yesterday about, how much customs has made in the time frame. And, everyone is talking about how much these agencies are making for the country. So they talked about how much they had made in the first quarter of 2024. So there, from the New Telegraph. And then, of course, with the Daily Trust newspaper, another headline that really caught my eye there, banditry, 289,375 persons displaced in Kaduna. And that more on that from page 3 of the Daily Trust newspaper. Very worrisome situation, and one that needs to be addressed as quick as possible so that we do not spiral into a situation that we cannot control. These are going to be people, these are people's lives, these are Nigerians, and it's going to impact on the fabric of our country. 289,000 people, that's a lot of people who are victims of this banditry. So something needs to be done about it immediately.
Well, that's quite a significant one to highlight. The one that actually gets to me is one of the things that people have said is a solution to this whole talk about insecurity.
education, eradicate poverty, and give people education, and insecurity is going out the window. And that's one of the stories also making the rounds this morning. It's just that the electricity story seems to have taken the shine off of it. On most of front pages of most of the papers today, as you would find on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper, you'll find that the president was signing a document, and right under the picture on the front page of the Blueprint newspaper is the story. And it says, with student loan law, no child will be excluded from quality education. That's ascribed to the president. So thankfully that is out there. But then what is the minimum threshold? I think that's one other issue that we need to be interested in. Those who go to school, we know the things that happen to them in most parts of it, well, particularly in the north. Abductions straight from school, and in their hundreds. So how does this student loan help to ensure that after I've collected the loan, I can actually go to school unhindered, without any fear, and then I'll be able to come out in good enough time to begin to pay back the loans that I have collected to go to school. So that is one thing that I think, you know, we'll also need to interrogate. So the law is out, the president has signed it. Hopefully implementation will begin real soon. But then how about those who go to school and get abducted from their schools? I hope it is something that the federal government and the state governments are also looking into. And then what's the assurance that when I come out of school, in fact, the education that I have gotten will help me to get a good enough job? It is in this same country that the Minister of the Federal Republic said that the graduates that we produce from our universities, they are not employable. I hope that this has also been factored in by the Minister of Education and everyone in that sector to ensure that they are not only employable, they will be able to pay back the loans that they get. Anyone should be able to get quality education in school. That's the president's pronouncement according to the law. I hope all governors also agree, and all local government chairmen will also partner with the federal government in that. That's my take on the story, Chairman.
That's an ever-going debate as to the capacity, functionality of the local government and what they need to do. But yeah, I mean, we need to highlight this to ensure that things work, don't we? Okay, so there you go. That wraps it up with a look at some of the dailies here this morning. We're back in just a moment. Stay on with us.